Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hey, everybody. This is I am Stacey Thomas. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your support for the show. And as always, I always try to bring someone on my show that not only blesses my platform, but blesses you also. And tonight I am very happy that there's a man that I've been following on Facebook and YouTube. Very popular guy, cool guy, and he's teaching a lot. So for this guest right here, I suggest you pay a whole lot of attention, and I suggest you follow him. Let's welcome Chris Collier. Hello.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming. You know something? I see you superstars all over Facebook. And Chris, it always amazes me and makes me happy when I invite somebody on. Okay, so it's one thing for people to reach out to you to want to come on your show, right? That makes me feel good. But when I see someone that I want to interview and they tell me yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Well,
So,
see, let's start right there for a second. I mean, we could go into that. There's a law called sowing and reaping, and I hate to get biblical right away with you, but
bring it on, bring it on.
the point is watch this. If I want, there's people I want to interview, and I have to get yeses from people who like are more have more star power than me. So if I
Right,
want them to say yes to me, then I have to sow a seed in someone else who might not have as much pull as me, or and sometimes things are what they seem, especially on social media. Let's just be real.
right.
Um, it may look like I got a whole lot of going on, but is that always the case? Like, being transparent is I'm not I'm not really, I don't make myself out to be a big deal. I can be, but I choose to keep humble because at the end of the day is like our good friend Cyrus says, I'm just a country boy from Mississippi. I'm just a country boy from Michigan originally. So I do live in the big city. I live in Atlanta, but I'm just a little guy from a small town of 3,000 people in Michigan that through happenstance and God's divine direction ended up in Atlanta. So I don't have no big ego or big stroke that I need. Um, I'm just here to serve at the end of the day. So it's a pleasure to be on, Stacey.
Thank you for that, Chris. I had to realize something a while back. I used to think like I used to meet people, right, Chris? And or I'd be somewhere and I meet somebody and that they're interesting, but I didn't see. I couldn't figure out, God, why am I meeting this person? There's nothing we have in common. I don't see a blessing coming from this person for me. And then I realized, Stacy, you're a bridge. I am the person that even if I'm blessed for meeting you, but I am the bridge sometime to connect the blessing to somebody else. But we don't always realize that. We always think it's supposed to be something in it for us.
Well, at the end of the day, though, even when water goes through a hose pipe, it gets wet.
Guess what?
It
Okay,
gets wet.
okay.
But on the flip side of that is you use a very good analogy. You get up in the morning and say, "Lord, use me. Lord, use me. Lord, use me." Then people walk over you. You're a bridge, and you say, "God, why do they use me so badly?" You asked to be used.
Wow. So are you saying, I know we have to be careful with our words. So instead of, are you saying there's something else that we should be saying instead of using the use me?
I mean, Lord, use me in an effective manner where
Okay.
you'll get the glory and I can get some benefit. Because at the end of the day is like there's no, you know, sometimes in the West, especially here in Christianity or churchianity, as I like to call it a lot of times, because there's a difference. Um, we get confused. Think about this: Jesus came from heaven, didn't know anything, didn't know sin in the sense of like personally. He knew it from an ethereal standpoint. Didn't, but effectively on the cross, he felt every sin that could ever be done to him and through him, and yet remain pure. But we think we're supposed to go through heaven with go through life without any problems.
Right, right.
Name it and claim it, all that stuff. There is some truth to that, but I think we go too extreme. The Bible says that Jesus learned obedience through the things he suffered. He was perfect because he never his flesh still wanted to do what it wanted to do. So we forget. We forget that if Jesus was perfect and had to go through suffering, see, it's almost like this. If you take away all the bad stuff in your life, you never know what's good.
Right. You never know how blessed you are. You never know how blessed you are. I think sometimes when people have too much, they don't realize how blessed they are. I think sometimes I've learned that through blessings, through storms, blessings do come. And I'll just use one example and won't go get too much into it because I want people to get to know you. But I lost the most important person in my life, my mother. And I questioned my faith when I said, and I've said this before, it made me sad to think that the Bible said all you needed is faith the size of a mustard seed. And I said, God, does that mean I don't have faith? Right? So I went through that, but then I realized I was blessed in taking care of my mother. I learned a lot. I was blessed to spend time with her. But because of what my mother went through, I became a better person. I became an advocate for others. Had that never happened, Chris, I don't know that I would have met some of the people I've met, and I'd be so eager to assist or educate people. So that was a storm with my mother. But blessings did come out of it. Some people don't think, how can she say a blessing came out losing her mother? Listen, losing my mother wasn't a blessing, but I learned so much that now I can bless others.
Well, at the end of the day, with that, Stacey, you're going to lose everyone as you grow older. What I've learned is, as I grow older, the more people you lose. It's either you lose them or you're going to be gone. I mean,
Right.
just how things work, unfortunately. So, but you did, like you said, you had the blessing of spending time with her. You had the blessing of her being your mother. You had the blessing of learning from her firsthand.
Right.
So the thing is like you can always be bitter, or you always choose to be better. Um, it's a choice. You can be the victim or the victor. You can't be both. Like I hear a lot of people complain, the government's doing this, the government's doing that. The government's been doing stuff since it was founded, right? So the government doesn't have that big of control over your life. It's
Right.
how you interact. So if they
Right.
give you lemons, make lemonade. If they give you something you don't like, turn it into something that you need, right? So you got to focus on the controllables. There's only one thing you can really control. Actually, two things: how you show up and the work you put in. And other than that, the output's not on you. If you're not getting the output you want, continue to keep showing up with the right attitude and the right work ethic, and things will turn in your favor.
I like that. You said keep showing up, even if it doesn't work out the first time. Keep
Well,
showing up.
the thing is like in my experiences, you find things like Thomas Edison. Kept showing up. He found 9,999 ways the light bulb didn't work. The 10,000th one was the one that worked. And someone said, "You failed 9,900." He said, "No, I found out the way the light bulb would not work." Think about that mindset for a minute, because the mindset's the most important thing in anything you do. It's not the motivation, because motivation comes and goes. It's the mindset, right? I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. So at the end of the day, you have to just understand that if you're going to do something, does it change? Sure. I mean, you might be a person who doesn't do YouTube, and then you start doing YouTube, and then you figure out it's really not for you, or you do it on a surfacey level versus getting deep into it. There's all sorts of things. You got to find out what works for you. Like you might choose to do underwater basket weaving. I like to use that example because it's not really a thing. Not you might choose to do that, and you realize, you know what, it's really not for me. You got to buy the gear. You got to buy the water tanks. You got to buy the basket that works underwater that I can weave together. There might be a lot of stuff in that you have to deal with. But when you deal with it, you might say, "I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm moving on to something else." Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a personal branding expert and social media expert, he says to people, "Go try it. If it doesn't work, and we're not talking about try like the wimpy try. Go give it your best, and maybe in a year, if you find out it's not working for you, find something else that does. You can't give up. We all have a dream. How you get there is not important. The fact you get there is important. So you might find this path and that path and the other path. It doesn't all work, but maybe you find a path where they're all blended and that does work for you.
It's interesting you said that. And when you said how he said after a year, try something else, right? Because something that has crossed my mind is, on one hand, people say you keep trying at this and don't give up and it'll eventually work out. But then on the other hand, I realize we have to know that that thing that we're not giving up is our passion, because then you're going to get confused and you're going to keep trying. It ain't never going to work out, Chris.
Right. There's so like I would say if you're trying something that's not working, try it a different way. So if you're doing YouTube videos and they're not working, try shorts. Try long form content. I would suggest everyone do long form content because even though the shorts are popular, long form is what gives you staying power in the search engines. And whatever you're trying, keep doing it. For example, you're doing this podcast, this show. You can save this and upload this to YouTube. This is a podcast. This is a show. Even though you're doing it whenever you're doing it, how often you're doing it. If you're doing it once a week on Wednesdays, just then download the video, do some tweaking to it, upload it to YouTube, find what search terms, which is what people will enter into the search engine when they're searching for stuff. So you rank for that which you want to be known for. So whatever the episode's for, you put those keywords, they're called keywords, those terms into a bundle, into the description when you upload, and you'll be found. It may not right away because there's so many people running in YouTube, but you can find different ways to do it. For example, you're an ALS advocate. So you could put YouTube personality, content creator, ALS advocate. So when that gets uploaded, it'll give you better traction for other people who are looking for ALS advocates or need an ALS advocate. So now, bang, you're getting better search than me, who I have a decent channel. I have 8,500 subscribers. And
Well, well, not only 8,500 subscribers, and I want people to know that Stacey didn't pull somebody off of social media that claims to have this and claims to know that without doing her research. I've had to put it up here, Chris, to let people know that when we say what you're teaching, you are the man. 1,053,494 views? Really?
well, you got to remember, we talked about when something goes wrong, making something right out of it. Remember, so
Okay.
when Corona happened, everything shut down. My job didn't shut down, but most everyone's did. Everyone's at home, and podcasts went up, YouTube went up, social media went up dramatically. I chose to start my podcast then. I chose to start my YouTube channel then. So this is just since 2020. So the thing is this, watch this. When you Someone gives you lemon juice. I made lemonade out of it. Look, I can tell you all sorts of stuff not to do that I did. I hired someone to help me boost my YouTube channel, and they put
Okay.
in a baby video that didn't have permission to be reproduced, and I got a strike against me very early on. So guess what I did? Emailed YouTube. They were going to shut down my account. I emailed YouTube and said, "Listen, I hired someone I didn't know. They said they were a social media strategist. Please forgive me. I'm deleting the video and I'm firing them."
Wow.
And they fixed everything because they said you're not. At one point they said you're not able to be monetized, and right after that I got it corrected because I did the right thing because I had hired someone and I thought they were going to help me, but they what they're doing is, and you got to be careful when you hire someone. You got to make sure that they're going to do the job, and if they don't, you got to be quick to fire. You can't, yeah, because if they're listen, YouTube, my YouTube channel is me. I am the brand. It's personal branding. Um, it's called Conquer with Chris for a reason because without me, it wouldn't be what it is. Like you are. I am Stacey, right? So the thing is like if we don't, if we're not there, the brand dies. Now,
Right.
can you build it for legacy? Can you build it for longevity? Absolutely. But right now, it's Conquer with Chris. At some point, we conquer with Chris and crew, or conquer with Chris and friends, whatever. But right now, it's Conquer with Chris because it's personal branding. Personal branding, whether you like it or not, those people listening now or later, you are a brand, whether you like it or not. You are a brand. The way your hair's cut, the way you wear your glasses, you wear glasses. If you're someone who wears makeup, the way you wear makeup, whether you have facial hair, whether you don't, whatever the case may be, how you dress, how you present yourself, it all is part of your personal brand.
Well, speaking of YouTube, I want to show something because, and as a YouTube, would I say expert coach, I saw on your website, grow your YouTube channel to 1 million views. Chris, is this something that's ongoing? Like when people go on this website, they contact you. I guess what I'm trying to say, are the classes at a certain time, or is it something that someone can hire you to teach them without it being a class for with a large number of people?
Okay, the answer to all those questions are yes. So
Okay.
these are actually books. These are books you can get. The three books for 22.50. You can get them. They will help you. But I wrote these books, but I'm not. You don't have any interaction with me. I'm going to teach something that normally isn't taught by a content creator or coach. There's called a value staircase, right? The more of
Okay.
my time you get, the more valuable it is to me. And so as a trade-off, the more I'm going to charge you. You can get these books for 22.50. It has my thought, it has my experience, it has my blessing. But if you want time with me, it's going to cost you more, right?
Okay.
A day with me right now is four. And when I say, let me rephrase that. An hour with me right now is $497 because I can help you get on track with YouTube. You say, well, that's a lot of money. Well, you don't have to go through 4 years of suffering and shame like I have to get to a million views. You can spend an
Wow.
hour with me and get closer, right?
Right.
Um, if you want to spend, you want to get a coaching program with me, that's something we can discuss. If you want to spend an hour, I won't charge you $497 an hour for a coaching program. But if you and some people want to get into a coaching program, that's another. See, it's a value staircase because at the end of the day, is your time is valuable, my time is valuable. But if you want something out of my life that I've I've worked hard for, um, you have to pay the premium because now you don't have to work hard for it. You get to walk in, pick. I want this experience and I want that experience. Now teach me how to have that. That costs a premium because not only did I have to pay for it then, but now you're getting my time, and I have to explain how to put it into action in a way that would suit you. Because just because you say I want the YouTube experience, I want to be monetized, I want to get paid for the views. At the end of the day, there are still some challenges you're going to have to go through because you won't grow and you won't be who you're supposed to be without it.
I love how you broke that down. I love how you explained it's to you, it's only an hour, but for me, it took 4 years to get the information that I'm about to pass on to you. People don't think like that, Chris.
And at the end of the day, is you can get most of the information off of YouTube already, but you're not resourceful enough to do it. I'm sorry.
Well, Chris,
People, unless they have skin in the game, they don't care. They're
I,
lazy.
I don't mind watching YouTube videos. I don't mind researching things. But for me personally, you have some people say, "Oh, Stacey, why do you think you need a coach where you can do this? You can Google this one." Well, for me personally, I want to talk to a human being. Anybody can make a video. Anybody can use AI and put some information, but AI has been known to give incorrect information. And I can't stop the video and say, "Oh, sir, could you explain to me what that meant?" So for me, I'd rather have a human being teach me. I mean, there are times I've learned things off of YouTube videos, but if it's something that someone's teaching, yeah, I want to be talking to that person so I can ask questions. So, Chris, you also have a new book coming out. So we have those three books for 22 what?
50.
2250. Those three books are going to help you grow your YouTube channel, correct?
Correct.
And now, Chris, you have a fourth book coming out.
It's actually the fifth. I have a book that I previously put out about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's called Program to Win. We're doing a revision of it. That's coming out. The revision's coming out, and the journal that goes with it. It's a 90-day devotional. It's coming out, and I'm excited about it because we don't have a title yet. We don't have. I mean, we do have a title. I'm sorry. We don't have. Oh, what's it I'm trying to say? We don't have the cover. That's the word I'm
Okay.
looking for.
Okay.
We don't have the cover yet. It's a 90-day program to win, where passion meets purpose journal, and it's important for people to have that because what I found is people know we use, especially in here in the West, we talk about we're Christian or we're saved, that kind of thing. But we know of God, but do we really know God for ourselves? And so I want to give you some perspective on 90 days with God.
90 days with God.
Hmm.
And you said something about passion to purpose. Chris, how does one know the difference between, how do I say this? How does one know the difference between it's a passion and it's your purpose? Because for a passion, I guess someone could say, well, I'm just going to try something different or whatever. But how do you know when it's your purpose, you think?
Well, very good question. I would say the purpose is always, you have to go back. Unfortunately, most people don't do this. You don't choose your purpose, you discover it. You have to go back to original source. That means you have to go back to God who created you. Why did he allow you to be created? Why are you here? What is your purpose to make impact for? Right? What were you created to do? And when you find that, you'll have a passion to do it. It like talking about this right now is very passionate for me because it is in my slot, right? When you get in your slot, you could talk about all day and night. It's imagine this. Imagine if bowling was changed. If the gutter was the place you're supposed to be. When you get in that slot, it feels right. There's more energy. It causes you could do it all day. There's no restriction in that. And when there is a restriction, you find workarounds very easy. You find out how to go around, go through, go above, go under, whatever the case may be. But when you're in that slot, when you're in that space, there is not as much friction. And when there is, you're so passionate, you blow through it. You become, that's where you become dynamic, which is where we get the word dynamite from, right? So you can blow through things. You can do whatever needs to be done to get through the hard things. So when passion and purpose meet, it creates power.
Wow. Wow. Gonna take a break. Gonna take It's not very long. I want to take a break to play my sponsor's commercial. Ellen Suttereth, who is a book presenter and a reviewer, she has sponsored the show this week. So let's take a look at her commercial.
Your book? Then look no further. ESP Presents assists authors in building their book brands. They offer author interviews that provide the opportunity to delve into your book and personal experiences, as well as engage with readers to help build your fan base. They also host live events. So whether mainstream or independent, all authors can find support with ESP Presents.
I don't know. For those that are watching, follow Ellen Sutherland on Facebook. You can also follow her on Instagram, ESP Presents. You can rewind when you want to hear Chris again, so you make sure you get taking good notes and see the commercial again. You'll see that she has some major players, some major authors on her platform. So you just might want to have her, for you new authors or seasoned authors, um, have her review your book and help you promote. So, Chris, you are a coach for a motivational coach,
I'm a mindset coach.
a mindset coach. So, Chris, because we know now that you're a pastor and you're telling us you're a mindset coach. For those that are watching, they are loving what Chris is saying. They want more of what Chris Collier is saying. Do they have to be someone that's religious, Chris?
No, they don't. The principles work. The principles work without the prince.
Okay.
they,
Okay. Okay.
they
You
the
know,
principles work.
right. Some people, we have some people that will only work with this group of people, or some people that want to work with that group of people. And I just want to make it clear to everyone that Chris Collier is coaching, and it does not matter. Your religion has nothing to do with it.
Well, this is the thing. They may
Uh,
not like what I have to say, but
okay.
at the end of the day, that's on them. That's not me.
But you might pick up on that they need God, so you're gonna stop and do a quick prayer.
Well, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come with biblical solutions. At the end of the day, is um,
That's what I wanted to know. Okay,
yeah,
very
yeah.
good.
At the end of the day, is if you have a Chevy and you go look in the book, the manual, it's going to tell you how to operate the Chevy. Well, the Bible is the operation manual for life. So if you don't like it, find it. That's on you. I can't help you.
Find a new coach. No, no, no.
No, seriously, you're right. You're right.
Right,
'Cause I don't need the headache.
right. And I'm someone, I've just learned everybody's not for me. That's so, but I just wanted to make that clear, that you can help, you're willing to help individuals. So the other thing is, I heard on Cyrus Webb interviewed you, and I got to tell you, I laughed at this. I did. Where you get the name Conquer with Chris from?
Oh, that's great. So, like, actually, Conquer Chris is a that's a long. It's a short story, but a long der, der, diveration. I'm sorry. Um, so when I was 8 years old, and to this day, I'm still a huge professional wrestling fan. I actually trained to be a professional wrestler, not
I
MMA.
can hear that part. Okay.
Let's not get it wrong. So I'm a huge professional wrestling fan, and I saw Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage,
Uh-huh,
Shawn
uh-huh.
Michaels, Triple H, all those guys, and I said to myself, you know what? They got all the cool names. Why can't I have a cool name? So I became the Conqueror. And over the time, it's deviated now to Conquer with Chris because I feel like I've achieved some things in life. And even if I haven't, I've experienced things being 52. Um, I've experienced some things that not many people have gotten to experience. So I think I can help people overcome obstacles in situations if they're willing to learn and listen. Because at the end of the day, is like you can overcome almost anything. You just have to be willing to put your mind and heart in there to win.
Wow. Wow. So my last question, Chris, is what what drives you, Chris? You could be doing your own thing. You could be growing your YouTube channel. You could be pastoring. You could be doing you. What drives you to want to help others, Chris?
Well, first off, it's our calling as just basic Christians. It's not even a pastor thing. See, in the West, and actually in Christianity in general, we've forgotten that once you're saved, everyone's called to be a minister of the gospel. Which minister is just a fancy way of saying serving.
Mm-hmm.
um, so it's I always say this is if someone's asking why should I do something? Why should I try to make an impact? Why should I get out of my comfort zone to do something? You owe it to the people who went before you. You
Okay.
owe it to the people that are coming after you. You owe it to your community. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your religious community. You owe it to God, and you owe it to yourself. Can you imagine you get to heaven and God said I give you 5 talents and you said I buried them all? I wouldn't want to be that person. You might not make it in heaven. We think that you confess Jesus, but at the end of the day is in that parable it says he cast the guy out. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy, the one talent guy that hid it in the ground. No, I don't want that. I'm not trying to question your theology right now, but I'm just saying is the Bible says many will come to me in that day confessing, but at the end of the day is I don't want to be that person that thinks I have it all together. I'd rather be the humble person that makes it in on their knees crying, Lord, just let me in. Because so that's what drives me. I don't want to be the one that wasted talent. I always, when I talk to people, they say, you're so talented. I'm like, I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm the underdog and I don't want to come up short because I've worked so hard and God's worked on me so hard. I don't want to come up short. I want to give so much to so many.
It's interesting that you said that. So that's my sister that said she sees the excitement when you're speaking about this, Chris. Um, my sister. Okay, so let me say this. I think we're even given things happen in our life that we survive, that we should be testimonies. We should share our stories. I know it's difficult for some people, Chris, and I've told people, well, like my sister, for example, you'll share your story when it's time, but it needs to be told. You go through things like you said, Chris, when God gives us something, how can we not do it or keep it to ourselves? My sister, long story short, family was called in while they were trying to hook IVs up to her because they thought she would not survive. The doctor that was called in to help her, when we said thank you, said it wasn't me, it was God. Chris stayed in ICU, opened up. They left her open up her for her stomach open for like 3 or 4 days. Every time they went to close her, they found something else wrong. The nurses in ICU said when she was leaving ICU, we're so happy. And I said, what are you happy about? No one thought she would survive. When there's a story like that, Chris, when see, now you got me talking, Chris. When there's a story like that, that will bless somebody else, and I hope she's still on, it needs to be told. Because at the end of the day, whatever God has meant for you, it's going to happen. God wasn't ready for her. And now I believe she's supposed to tell that person that's sick, that's listening to man, instead they should listen to God.
Well, I'm going to jump in here and say that her story was written the way it was. You see, we think God is stuck in time.
Right.
When God looks at time, he sees the past, the future, and now all at the same moment. It's like a belt to him because time is inside of him. It's inside of God. He's not part of time. Time is a part of God. Think about this. The angels fell, and they were sentenced to live that way forever. Man fell, and God. This is the number one reason why we know God loves us. God gave us time to repent. Angels and demons don't get a chance to repent. So, but for her story, it has to come out. That story has to come out because it was written for her to have that. She was never going to die in the first place. Let me challenge that thought. God wrote it that way because she has to tell the story. Is there things in her life she needs to get straight? Absolutely. We all have things we need. But on the way to getting straight, start telling the testimony because there are people waiting. Waiting. I want to challenge, if you have a story like that, maybe you went through a rough divorce, maybe you went through some child abandonment or abuse, time for the story to come out. There are people waiting on you. If you don't tell your story, there's a scripture in, oh goodness, I can't remember it now. It says, if a watchman does not yell when there's an army coming, the blood of the innocent, the blood of the people who should be ready for war is on their hands. If you don't tell your story, it is up to you to tell it because there are people going to be freed up by that story. There are people going to be delivered from that story. You have to tell your story.
Wow. So,
Because
Chris,
if not, that's the reason you're here. The reason why Jesus cursed the fig tree was because it didn't produce fruit. If I curse you and say you should never bring fruit again, that means there's no reason for you to exist. Your purpose is destroyed, so you are destroyed. So get in your purpose. It's the safest place in the world to be.
wow. So, Chris, when someone has a story like this and you feel like it's a story that needs to reach more than one or two people, so you decide to go on YouTube, but you don't know what to do. Chris Collier, are you the man that starts with the beginners? I said that other question was supposed to be the last question, wasn't it? We're going to try this one. Are you the man that starts with the beginners, or are you the man that only wants people who have experience behind them to teach?
That's a great question. I would say I'm a beginner to a mid person, someone that's in the middle of their journey, and someone who's at the beginning of the journey. Because let me give an example. If you imagine there's a ruler right here, I'll use this pen. There's a pen right here. Imagine you know just this much, right?
Right, right,
Of everything there's to know in YouTube. This is YouTube.
right,
And you only know this much. That means anyone from here down, you can teach them how to do YouTube.
right.
So I'm not completed my journey in YouTube, you know? So I handle people who are beginning, I handle people in the middle. And just like them, when you get started, if you know this much, you can start teaching YouTube to the people who are just beginning. So end of the day is you should always be teaching because teachers are the best learners.
Wow. Thank you, Leslie. Your platform allows for us to tell our stories. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Um, so Chris, you know what? This good conversation. The people have said, Stacey, you need to learn to cut it off. But what do I do when I feel like God has blessed me with somebody that I really need to hear what he's saying? So, Chris, please tell us, when are you expecting the journal to be out?
Roughly 4 weeks. We should have it out in 4 weeks. So beginning of, let's see, this is early mid April, so early mid May.
Okay. And we have all your information on here. Do you feel, Chris, like even though Stacey has it written, typed on here, that you need to go ahead and sell yourself? We're at the end of the show. Nobody can sell themselves like you.
Well, listen, I just make it real easy. If you want to do YouTube, you can reach me. My website's conquerwithchris.com. And you can find me at all these different social channels as well. And if you want to walk closer with God, you can also find me there. I'm excited about how God's transitioning me and how God is using me to help people get to know Him. Because at the end of the day, you can know me and it's all right. But getting to know God, think about this: for eons and eons, the angels say, "Holy, holy, holy," which means, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" Eternity past, they're saying, "What is this that we're worshiping?" And we get a chance to know Him personally.
Chris, what if I just need prayer? Can I call you?
No, you can't call me.
Not call, Chris. No. Nobody's
You
gonna
can
call you,
message me. You
Chris.
can message me.
What if
Absolutely.
I need prayer? Can we just call message you?
Absolutely.
Okay, but we want that business though, right? We want we want that
We need
business.
the business because Chris still works a full-time job,
Who-
and Chris doesn't want to work a full-time job anymore. He wants to be more useful, and I feel that the way to do that is my wife and I traveling. So when we get there, it won't be long, but when we get there, we'll be traveling all across North America and the world. But we want to be full-time traveling. So
Wow, that's gonna be nice. And I like the way you smiled when you said me and my wife.
oh yeah, I wouldn't. Look at she makes it easy for me to do what I do. She makes sure I'm fed. She makes sure I'm clothed. And I don't want anyone to mistake that like she's providing all the money. No, like I said, I work 50, 60 hours a week. So she just makes sure the admin stuff on the backside's taken care of.
Wow. Wow. Well, tell her it appears to be that she's doing a great job, Chris. And I am wishing you both that your dream come true. And thank you so much for blessing my platform tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Have a great one, Chris.
You too. Thanks, Stacey.
Okay, everybody. So his information is up on the screen, right? Check him out. Google him. Go on his page. Follow him on IG. Follow him on Facebook. He has a lot more to say. Okay, he has things that he can teach you. I'm gonna be honest with you. There are things I would like to learn from him. And remember this. Look, thank you for watching. And remember this. Don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. Have a great night, everyone.
Want to be heard? Get featured on The Stacey Thomas Show. Join Stacey for conversations on entertainment, books, and entrepreneurship. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand today. Book your interview now. Email staceythomas@gmail.com.